Hey everyone, so everybody seems to be talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 pricing being something crazy. I kind of wanted to go over that topic. I'm not sure what the big assumptions were here, but the console was always going to be between 4 and 500. That wasn't like a shock. I don't know why 450 seems to be somehow like out of the realm of possibility. You just look at like the Steam Deck; it's at $400 for kind of similar. I think the performance on the Switch 2 is actually a little higher, but it doesn't even include the dock. The dock is like $80 more if you want to get the Steam Deck dock. So why do we think it's out of the realm of possibility for it to be 450? I'm not sure what happened there. That does not seem like it's like that doesn't seem out of bounds. I think that's a normal price for what they're giving you, but somehow that seems to be expected to be cheaper. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know why there's such a big pushback on 450 for a piece of hardware that's doing a lot of things. The ROG Ally, the $400 version of that, is pretty low powered, doesn't come with a dock. The higher power version is substantially more expensive. When like Xbox puts out their hybrid, you think that's going to be $300? It's going to be much more than 450. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why people expect these things to be cheap. They're not going to be cheap. We've been warning you here. Like the next gen consoles are going to be like $700-800. Expect to pay that, and that includes the portables. Don't expect that those things are going to be cheap. So I'm not sure why you think 450 is somehow breaking the bank. But okay, if you don't want to engage with that, fair enough. But 450 is pretty good for what they're giving you. So either way, moving on to the thing that seems to be the massive controversy of the game prices. So have the current prices that you can get these games that are coming for Switch 2. It's on GameStop site. Donkey Kong is coming in. It's a next gen game, or I guess Switch 2 game at $70. That seems to be reasonable, I guess, since they're going to that level, because everybody else is going to do that to them, right? So fair enough. The ones that really got people are Mario Kart and the Jamboree and all that. Let's go. We'll put Mario Kart aside. Let's look at Mario Party Jamboree. This is not just the Mario Party Jamboree game. It's also additional DLC, right? There's a Jamboree TV that's being added to it. So this is a forced bundle of the original game, up-resed, and then you also are getting this additional DLC. So is 80 out of the realm? Not really. I mean, I can kind of see that, right? It is bundling in DLC that is more content. That's generally fair. DLC generally ranges in that $20 range. So am I gonna nitpick that one? I don't know. The same thing here with Kirby. They're adding the star-crossed world. I believe that's what it says, but that's also an additional DLC, and so you're getting additional forced content. That's forced, but fair enough. It's a bundle deal. You're getting 2 parts, right? Another DLC. Again, $20 more, and I don't know. I'm not gonna really say that's the end of the world. So it's not the base game, right? Now you get the Zeldas. Breath of the Wild was a $60 release. There's a $10 uplift to get the additional enhancements. Unfortunately, they're not giving the enhancements away for free, which sucks. But or if you are subscribed to their online service, you have to have the expansion pack, I think, as well. But then apparently they might be including that. But either way, so that goes up by $10. That's how much it costs to do the upgrade. So that seems like a reasonable thing to do here, to say just if you're going to buy the one that comes with the enhancements, we're just going to charge you $70 versus $60. Okay, fair enough. Tears of the Kingdom came out $70 on the Switch, right? So $10 for the enhancements. Again, I'm not a fan of that, but it is what it is. That's what they're doing. Much like PlayStation was charging for upgrades, this is their path. Fair enough, but that's the way it is, right? You don't want it, you don't buy it, right? But and that $70 becomes $80. Okay, fair enough. So the one that really bugs me is this one, and this is much like what was happening with Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch, right? Normally their games come out at 60. They decided Tears was going to be 70. Okay, at least in that case, it made sense because you had a cartridge, and the cartridge had more memory in it. Fair, because the game could actually run off the cartridge. That's not happening anymore, so I'm not sure what the reasoning is to charge more for Mario Kart, for the Switch, for Switch 2. This is, to me, this is just kind of pure greed. I don't like. They're saying that the cartridge is just a license key. You still have to download the game onto your storage on the Switch too. So I'm not sure. This one really just seems like they just want to charge more just because they can charge more, and they know they've got you as a captive audience. I don't know how cool that is. Now, granted, there's a bundle. It's $50 more if you can get the bundle deal. That's okay, but like that one really is kind of egregious. I don't know why that needs to happen. The sad truth is, unfortunately, I think everybody who buys a freaking Switch 2 is going to get Mario Kart, and they will win. That's just the way it is. It's unfortunate, but they will win. These other ones, as I said, it's somewhat fair because it's got DLC. So okay, I'll give it to them. They've got DLC there. Fine. This one's a little annoying with Tears, but okay, they want a $10 uplift. If you want the new features, fine, I'll give it to them, fine. It's still cheesy. I'm not a fan of that kind of thing. I like the way that Xbox did that with Smart Delivery. You just get the enhancements. On PC, this is unheard of. You buy the game, whatever hardware you have, if you upgrade it, it just uses the hardware. It doesn't care. You play your game. It's really crazy to see. Now, are there remakes? Sure, but like if something's like 15, 20 years old and they add new assets and do fine, I get that. That's fine. This is an up-res. Like, come on, it's crazy that they're charging $10 for that. Whatever. But that's what they're doing. So I kind of get all the other ones. The Mario Kart one really is just we're just gonna put it in your face and deal with it. You have to deal with it, right? That is kind of sad. I hope others don't actually do this. I don't think it needs to happen. As it is, the $70 bump caused quite a bit of a market difference. The volumes have gone down in sales. Unfortunately, the barrier of entry has become bigger, and that makes it so many more games have a hard time getting those sales because it's a bigger chance people have to take. It is what it is. You would think that was $10 more. It matters. Unfortunately, it matters. When you're only buying so many games a year, you have to consider: do I want to spend $70 on that, or do I want to spend $70 on Call of Duty, which I know I'm going to enjoy, or something like that, right? So you have to put that in calculus for people who are buying games, and unfortunately, it does impact. And it has. You can see the data out there. It has impacted volumes. The people who do sell, a good enough amount, even though they're depressed in volume, they do make more money though because it's $70. So that can happen, but I think a lot more have seen the downside of the $70 increase, where games are just failing, and that kind of stinks, right? I would hope they would see that data and say, let's do the opposite. And I think Sony had a leak out with Insomniac. Where they were trying to do $50 increments. I actually prefer that. I think that's better, right? That way you have a lower barrier of entry. You get your game out a little bit faster instead of saying it takes like 6 years between iterations, right? So that's kind of a cool thing to do. Maybe people don't like that, but I find that a better approach. Give somebody something that's a good consumable chunk, and it's a lower barrier of entry with $50, maybe $40. That seems like the better path to go, unless you have a service and people want to go to the service, right? Like Game Pass or Ubisoft Plus or something like that. But yeah, this is a bad trend. If this is something that they continue, right? The next mainline Mario, the next mainline Zelda, are they going to do the same thing? I can kind of guess. If I want to read between the lines, I think they will. And they know that they've got a captive audience and they'll buy it, and that kind of sucks. But I mean, I get their side of it too. They want to make their cash, right? And unfortunately, Nintendo just happens to enjoy a very loyal audience that will buy their games. We'll see if this works. or if this becomes the impediment and causes a lowering of the unit sales. But again, they could win out on revenue, so you just got to keep that in mind. One other unfortunate news is in the Switch world, you used to be able to buy vouchers for $100, and that will allow you to get 2 games, whether pre-orders or whatever was in the store. That unfortunately does not translate onto the Switch 2, so you cannot use vouchers. At least that's what we're seeing, that you can't use the vouchers for Switch 2 games. That kind of stinks too, but maybe they will have updated versions of that. We'll see. But that was a cool feature. It allowed you to get the games at $50 each. But hey, whatever, they're upgrading to a new thing, and we'll see if they make changes to that program as well. But otherwise, I just wanted to kind of put together something on this whole pricing thing. For the console price, I'm not getting why people are all upset. I don't get it. For the Mario Kart, I get it. That is kind of egregious. And they're just doing that, from my perspective, they're just doing that out of greed. There's really no other reason. It's not a cartridge size thing. The game is not on the cartridge, right? I'd buy it if they said, hey, you know what, the cartridge is substantially bigger, it costs us more, therefore we need to charge more. Okay, fine, at least you've got a reason. There's no reason here. This is just, to me, pure greed. The other ones, I kind of get it. Again, it's DLC, right? So fine, fair enough. A lot of other publishers do that. That's fair. If you're adding DLC, you're charging a bit more. All right, I'll see that. That's fine. But with the case of Mario Kart, I don't see that one. That one's a bit more of a in-your-face thing. I think they need to maybe not do that. But we'll see if people actually don't buy it. But I think they'll have huge sales of Mario Kart World and a huge attach rate, unfortunately, and so it will work. And so they're going to pick the games. They didn't even do it with Donkey Kong, right? They didn't pick Donkey Kong and say, hey, we're going to do that and make it $80. No, they said $70 for that one, because I think they know the attach rate's not going to be as high as Mario Kart World, but I think they know the next 3D Mario, mainline Mario game, the next mainline Zelda game, they're going to sell like 10, 20, 30 million copies of that. And they're like, yeah, well, too bad, you're going to pay more. I think that's going to happen. That's sad, but it is what I think they're going to do. That is kind of annoying. But, hey, we'll see what they do going forward. Maybe the backlash will be something. But I think by and large, say Metroid Prime, for instance, I would expect that to be 70 for Switch 2, 60 for Switch, right? Because I think it's going to be cross-gen. So I expect that to be 70, because that usually, the Metroid series doesn't sell that well. So I'd expect that to stay at that range. But yeah, this is just really egregious, the Mario Kart thing. It is sad, but you know what? This is the world, unfortunately, and they can get away with it. Just like GTA, if they decide that's going to be $80, it's going to be $90. Unfortunately, they're going to be principled people. That might be like 2%. The rest are going to say, I'm buying it, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is. They'll win. All right. Well, I just figured I'd put together something to kind of go over my thoughts on this. Hopefully, you enjoyed this. All right. Catch you later.
Hey there, I wrote a book, and I'd love for you to check it out. If you want to check out my book, you can go to the link that's in this, right here, shop.china.us, and it will direct you towards the book's page in your country in Amazon, so you can go check it out there. And yeah, I'd love to see if you're interested, and let me know in the comments if you liked it. Better yet, leave a review on Amazon if you liked it, and enjoy the book. Thanks.